Peace, everyone. I'm going to try to hide this light behind my bun. I am Joy Mayad, Professor Joy Mayad, as some of you all might know me. So I just wanted to get on here and do a brief video. I made a Facebook post a couple days ago, and I was talking about just cutting off toxic energy. I did these, like, sometimes I do these mad splurges of posts on Facebook, just based on like what is coming through me or what I might see or what I might be feeling or experiencing myself. This one was because I think I've been binging way too long on Facebook for like the last week. And I've been seeing a lot of negative activity, a lot of negative things from people just having conversations and arguments and very opinionated post about things that they might not have the same experience or things that they might, but it's very judgmental. A lot of judgy shit on there, basically. And so I made these posts about just talking about how people are, in these toxic situations, and the one of the most posts that I see all the time is always talking about how toxic energy, you just cut it off, and you don't need all that toxic energy and all this other stuff. So I made a post talking about, well, if you can learn to walk away from toxic energy before it becomes toxic. If you just learn to walk away, you learn to kind of lean into those feelings of, okay, this doesn't feel right for me, this might not be what I need, and learn to walk away from that before it becomes quote unquote toxic, right? And then realizing that some situations that might be toxic are really meant to transmute, meaning we are merely meant to learn a bigger lesson from it. A lot of people want to walk away and cut off, energies from certain people. Like I seen a headline about somebody cutting off a family member because they realized that this person was toxic for them. And I get it. Sometimes you might need to do that. But I don't think we take into consideration the ancestral piece that comes with these people that we might meet. Meaning we don't know, what the energy contract, which I like to call energy contracts of people, and why we have cross paths. And usually we cross paths with that person because, there is a piece of you that needs to be reflected in order for you to get to a certain stage or a certain level in your own life. So people are just mirrors. A lot of us are just mirrors. A lot of us are mirrors of things that we might not even recognize in ourselves, but might be somewhere deep down in our DNA. Especially when you're dealing with family members. So, while a lot of people are talking about and recognizing that they need to heal some of their ancestral trauma, some of the things that has trickled down into generations that might need to happen. And then from the simple, mundane interactions of friendships that might be, they might be just simply outgrowing. And it can be as simple as that, us going to the extent of calling it toxic. I mean, okay, let's define toxic. Let's do that. When we start talking about, in the chemical terms, anything that has toxicity is really creating a very dangerous and detrimental level of negative activity in the body, or in a chemical form. So where it becomes dangerous, it becomes fatal, it becomes terminal, any of those things, to where it can actually start to have an adverse reaction. So many of the things that we talk about are toxic aren't necessarily toxic, for one. They can just be simple lessons. A lot of them are just us making choices that are reflecting in our personality. They're reflecting through our behaviors. They're reflecting from our conditionings. So recognizing those things. So recognizing okay, this relationship or this situation isn't really what I need right now, and you can only determine that once you've determined who you are, what you want out of life, what you want out of a situation. So if you're continuing to be in a situation, whether a job or relationship or whatever, this seems to be draining, it's usually because you haven't identified exactly why you're there, and what it is to learn from that situation. And a lot of times in relationships, we want to deflect and project and blame instead of really recognizing ourselves in the situation. So, some situations, yes, once you recognize what they are, if they are toxic indeed, or if they are just, I just need to make better choices for myself, you can determine, okay, what to cut it off. But there comes certain relationships, especially when we get into talking about those energetic contracts, or those, I guess a more popular term would be karmic debt, to where people recognize, where there's something deeper in this relationship. There's something deeper in this place, in this time, of what you need to actually learn a lesson from, in order to go to the next level in your life. So if you keep repeating the same type of relationships, it isn't the people that you're choosing that are toxic. I mean, they might be, but you're choosing toxic situations, or you're choosing this situation, or you're meeting these people because you have a karma debt to pay. You have something that you need to balance in your own karma and in your own path, in order to be able to level up, basically. So some situations you're going to keep repeating and repeating and repeating, whether they're toxic or not, until you, one, recognize, okay, bring some awareness into this. Where am I in this situation? Where am I in this person? Where am I in this place and time? And what exactly am I feeling that is really reflective of something that I need to deal with in myself? Not necessarily the person, but what do I need to deal with in myself? What is it about this person or this situation or this time or this place that is really, bothering me, that is really draining me? And then once you've discovered that, then you're able to deal with that in yourself, through several different means of practices, in order for you to level up. And that's where the transmutation comes from. To transmute just basically means to change it. So sometimes cutting it off doesn't necessarily happen, because you'll repeat it. You'll repeat that energy. You'll repeat that contract and that debt, until you have learned to change it. And then once you've changed it, you've transmuted it into a more positive learning situation. And so that the next person or next place or the next time you meet in this situation would be a lot more positive experience than it was last time. And sometimes that can be, exponential growth, or it can be a little bit of growth. Like it just depends on, what that situation was reflecting in you. So yeah, so all this talk about, oh, I'm just cutting this person off because they're toxic. That person is an extension of a lesson of you. So recognize that first, basically, is what I was saying. And what I'm seeing, and a lot of people really trying to, have this beautiful dark practice of trying to figure themselves out and figure everybody else out and unite, and, what agenda to get on and all this other stuff. And it's beautiful and it's dark and there's light in those spaces as well. But it takes a lot of accountability, a lot of self-accountability, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of reflecting, in order to transmute these situations. And that happens on a minimal scale, and it also happens on a mass scale. So down to, personal relationships, and then up to a collective consciousness of a shift and changing and happening, through toxic circumstances that are happening in this world. So the more that we learn to deal with these in day-to-day life, with each other and to recognize that, then we can that energy will expand out into the world, and we will stop blaming, and we will stop trying to cut stuff off and keep repeating it, history repeating itself, because we have actually transmuted it and made real change happen. So yeah, so you all can follow me, on Facebook and Instagram, Joy My Yacht or Professor Joy My Yacht. And anything you see and you might want a little deeper knowledge on, you can, or just dig deeper into what I'm thinking. You can be sure to comment and let me know, and I will do a video or maybe inbox you, or we can have a conversation. I'm also available for consults, if you want deeper spiritual awareness into practice, and what, like, specifically what transmutation and change means for you. So, all right. Stay connected. Be love. Live truth. Peace.